Ancient Egypt pharaohs were alien hybrids. This is a new, well, not new, it's a conspiracy theory exploding online. Paul Harper of Daily Star reports, bizarre new theory circulating online claims that the pharaohs of ancient Egypt were alien hybrids. In other words, some kind of space aliens that interacted, had relationships with humans, and the result was this, an alien hybrid. Mocked up pictures of famous gods next to extraterrestrials surfaced online, and reports point out that Egyptian legends date their origins back to Zep Tepi, which translates as the first time. This was a golden age when legend says gods descended from the sky in eggs or boats. Well, in the video before this one, you'll see the Tully papyrus that was recently found is witnessing a report of an ancient Egyptian pharaoh and how he was shocked and astonished, frightened out of his mind actually, that they had an alien invasion from what he called sky gods with their UFOs landing on the Giza Plateau. And he called them the overlords of Egypt. So he was even frightened, even though he was supposedly viewed as a god among the Egyptians. The pharaoh was their god, quote unquote, and he, as a pharaoh, was frightened because of the advanced technology and the knowledge of these people. And he viewed them as we would view demigods today, I guess. So it was the golden age when legend says gods descended from the sky in their boats. Many argued for decades that ancestors in Egypt were physically unable to build incredible Giza pyramids. This suggests that advanced life forms from space had passed on their knowledge or created the monuments before civilizations emerged. Many believe that these pyramids and the Sphinx were even pre-flood construction. And they claim that the granite stone inside is so perfectly polished and cut that even today we would not be able to construct things like this. One conspiracy website, Outer Worlds, dedicates the whole section to the argument that aliens built the pyramids, as reported in Express UK. Also, there's an embedded video here with Graham Hancock describing lost civilizations, explaining must have built Egyptian pyramids. The theory then says, because two diagonal lines extend from the pyramids on either side of the Nile River Delta, the early Egyptians could not have known this when building them. It says, how could the Egyptians possibly have built their pyramids facing the exact magnetic North Pole without even having a compass? Those aliens, abundant in their knowledge and drowning in technology, came along, and using their compasses, they landed on Earth and found the actual magnetic North and South poles. Then they built the pyramids. But theorists claim that pyramids were not just one of the number of incredible structures built thousands of years ago when it would not have been possible with technology of that age. The potential alien buildings include Stonehenge in Wiltshire in England, which boasts stones weighing as much as 50 tons, and a 1,000-year-old interlocking stone fortress outside the Inca capital of Cusco in Peru. In the same South American country, in Peru, the 800-long and straight Nazca lines featuring 300 geometric shapes and 70 figures of animals are another creation of wonder linked to ancient extraterrestrials. Some claim aliens were also responsible for the 900 human stone figures found on Easter Island in the South Pacific Ocean, which date back more than 1,000 years. Now I'd like to give you some information about Pharaoh Nectanebo. He was around the time of Alexander the Great, And let me get back to the years. The years were about 300 and, let's see, 360 BC until 342 BC. That's when he ruled, but there was a type of an anarchy, a type of an uprising, and he had to flee to save his life. He thought he would be coming back. He went to northern Greece, to Macedonia, to the palace of King Philip, and King Philip, who was Alexander the Great's father. King Philip was away on a lot of campaigns, battles, and trying to strengthen his empire. And he left his wife Olympias at the palace, and that's where Nectanebo went under the disguise of being a magician from Egypt. He beguiled her. He used to go into her rooms at night and under the influence of various strong potions and narcotics would make her very drowsy, very sleepy, and he would tell her that she would be visited by a god and that she was favored and so on and so forth. And anyway, one of the times that Philip came back after a while, he found her pregnant, and she gave the excuse to Philip, or she explained to Philip that she was impregnated by a god, and that Alexander the Great, who was eventually born, was the son of a god. And he was biologically, of course, the son of Pharaoh Nectanebo. That's why when Alexander the Great, when he eventually became king and passed through Israel, he met the high priests at the temple, and they told him about the prophecy of the prophet Daniel concerning him. Then he went right away to Egypt, and there he asked if he was God, and the high priests there told him, yes, you are God, because they knew that he was the son of Pharaoh Nectanebo. Now we know that the pharaohs in Egypt were considered gods, quote unquote, and that's why, of course, they confirmed to Alexander the Great that he was a god as well, because they knew that he was the biological son of Nectanebo II. Now, why am I bringing in Nectanebo here? Because Nectanebo was, he, as well as one of his ancestors, were the people that tried to impress on the Egyptians that this temple of Abydos in Egypt, the temple of Seth in Abydos, was had a record of the sky gods landing in Egypt, and that these were the proper and true gods of Egypt, because they were the overlords of Egypt, and this was one of the places that they would be landing. And that lentil that we see with the crafts, the helicopters, the jet airplanes, the submarines, and various other craft that we have today, were recorded in that hieroglyph in the lentil in Abydos. And obviously that shows that they were flying. They had craft that were airborne, and undersea craft as well. But they also had, as we saw, today's helicopters and jet airplanes look exactly like that. Amazing. So they were very careful to preserve the records of these craft that these sky gods used. So obviously there were some kind of advanced civilization coming to Egypt before the Egyptians that we know of that were around 4,000, 5,000 years ago. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.